Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where today we are going to take a look at the Era 2 Heavy, the M103A2. This video was a request and it was requested during a live stream, so I've lost the name of the person who actually requested this, but if it was you, thank you very much for the request. The M103A2 is actually not that bad. Right, let's have a look at this tank. Now that I've played it all the way through, my take on which American line you should play first as a new player or anyone just, you know, starting the American line, my take on which line you should play first has changed. Previously, if anyone asked which line should I play first, my answer was always the American mediums. But like I've mentioned, that has now changed. You will always need to start with the M46 on this line. There's no getting away from it, you have to play the M46. But once you're done with the 46, I would recommend playing the T34 over the M47. And my reason for this is fairly simple. The T34 and the M103 are good tanks. They're not game-breakingly amazing, but they are good. The real reason, though, for playing these heavies is the M103A2. Here's the situation. The M47 is okay. I like it because it's Arnold's tank, but I wouldn't say it's brilliant. The M48 is pretty good, but you run into trouble with the M60. With the M60, you enter Era 2 with a tank that has no armor. And you find yourself up against FV4211s and Enigmas. Simply put, the M60 is a challenge in Era 2. Not because it's a bad tank, it's a challenge because of what it has to face. The M103A2 has a far better chance, or a far better fighting chance against the same Era 2 tanks than the M60 does. For example, your bottom of Era 2. Playing hull down is typically a winning strategy across the game. On the whole, that is typically a winning strategy. The M60 has 177mm of armour at the front of its turret. Its turret front is rounded though, so for all intents and purposes, it is still basically a flat target. The M103A2, on the other hand, has 254mm of turret armour at the front, but its turret is angled quite aggressively, I might add. It's angled quite severely at the front. The selling point here being the M103A2, which is no more XP than the M60 and no more expensive, both being 5.4 million silver. The 103 is far more survivable than the M60. But what do you get with the M103A2? Well, fully unlocked, the M103A2 has 366mm of pen on its standard rounds. Fully unlocked, the M60 has 421. The 103 has an average damage roll of 530, while the M60 has 480. The 103 has 2700 hit points, while the M60 only has 2500. The 103 has a max speed of 53 km an hour. The M60 comes in at 61 km an hour. The 103 has 490 meters of view range. The M60 comparatively has 510. And finally, the 103 has 446 meters of concealment, while the M60 has 457. So, quickly, to recap that, the M103A2 has lower pen, but hits harder, has more hit points, can't see as far, and surprisingly, it would seem, is more concealed than the M60. That is surprising to me. But hey, those are the figures. So realistically speaking, this comparison, you know, don't typically compare a heavy to a medium, but realistically that comparison is pretty standard when comparing two different vehicle types. The gun stats on the M60 are tempting, I will say that. It is very tempting to go with the higher pen on any gun, you know, because you think to yourself, well, I can pen more armor, which means I'm more likely to do damage. Which, yeah, I mean, there is weight to that argument. But, like I've said before, you can have the best gun in the world, but it'll do you no good if you're dead. The heavies, starting with the T-34, are slower, and this is the negative side of playing the heavy line. Heavies are always going to be slower. So, if you can handle the different play style, it'll be a benefit to you. Era 1, you may not see the benefits in Era 1, but you will, however, see the benefits once you get to Era 2, because playing the American heavies in Era 1 is it's more of an investment, to be honest, rather than a quick win. Starting off in Era 2 in the M103A2, even stock, for me, was far more enjoyable than trying to get through the M60. And if you can handle, again, if you can handle the slower pace of heavies, I would strongly recommend that you play the M103A2 line over the M60 line. And that is true for anybody, I would say. If you're a beginner, if you're a veteran of the game, I personally think the heavy line, the T-34, the M103 and the M103A2, I think these three tanks are far better than the M47, M48 and M60 from a gameplay point of view, from a game experience point of view. I think you'll have a far more enjoyable time playing the heavies than you would playing the mediums. Okay folks, that's about all I have for this one. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, if not a dislike. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and as always, I hope you're all keeping well, and I will see you out there.